Okay, now.
I'm the top dog in the league, homie.
Yeah.
Let's speak on it, the stretch for anybody to reach on me.
Don't reach.
Just breathe on it, don't tell them. They gotta know it's me
They
on
know
it.
it.
Won't kick it on me and go for three
know
on you.
it.
You couldn't guard me with the cleanest armor.
know.
I got it covered,
Yeah.
D's corner.
Yeah.
I'm the top dog in the league, homie.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to D's Corner. We are finishing up our off-season recap grades. Our final conference is the AFC West. Let's go ahead. Let's dive right into it. First up, we got the Denver Broncos, who added weapons on top of weapons this offseason. They had a pretty good offseason, in my opinion. One of their weapons is their first-round draft pick, Jerry Jeudy. I also like the trade for cornerback A.J. Bouye. And I have a third player spotlight is their second-round pick, K.J. Hamler, the wide receiver out of Penn State. A.J. Bouye, he's coming off 2 down seasons, but honestly, the entire Jags team declined. In 2017, he had 6 picks. He's a vet who has produced in this league and should be a good addition. He will step in as their number 1 corner, with them losing Chris Harris Jr., but he should be able to come along and teach and be a coach on the field with some of the younger corners in the cornerback room. This is a good trade. And Jerry Jeudy, the Broncos have what a lot of people considered with his number 1 wide receiver in this draft class. Judy's a 6'1", 193-pound receiver from Alabama. He's got great agility, great route running. He's coming in as a number 2 to Cortland Sutton. He should have a good rookie season. He has all of the ability to do so, and his route running is fantastic. Some of the best route running coming out of college. The Denver Broncos offseason recap grade for me is an A. Bouye should play well in this scheme and help catch the younger corners up and help train them up. They basically stole Jarrell Casey from the Titans. Melvin Gordon should fit in really nicely as the duo with Phillip Lindsay. They did great at surrounding Drew Lock with weapons. This team is now young offensively. They do need a ton of help on their offensive line. Their left tackle, Boyles, is not very good. And Jawan James actually opted out. So with all this young talent they have on offense, they need to beef up their offensive line. But this is a good offensive team, a good young offensive team that you have the ability to build around. You have Drew Lock still working off of his rookie deal. You have 3 young wide receivers. Sutton will be coming up first for a extension. They signed Melvin Gordon to a 2-year deal, so if they don't want to pay Phillip Lindsay, they can move on from him. But this is a good team. This was a good offseason they had. I think they may have had one of the best offseasons in the entire NFL, especially just surrounding their young quarterback with much talent and as many weapons as possible. Next up, we have the Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs, who had a pretty decent offseason. Their player spotlight for free agency will be the player that they tagged and then re-signed, defensive tackle Chris Jones. And in the draft, I really like the pickup of linebacker Willie Gay out of Mississippi State. Franchise tagging Chris Jones was the right deal. Getting Patrick Mahomes signed in such a long but team-friendly deal was actually fantastic because it allowed them to actually re-sign Chris Jones, who's a huge man. He's 6'6", he's 310 pounds, and he's a disruptor. If you watch that game in the Super Bowl, he was knocking down passes left and right. He was consistently rattling Jimmy Garoppolo's throwing lanes, and he is like the driving force on this defense, him and the Honey Badger. Willie Gay is a 6'1", 243-pound linebacker with 4.46 speed. He should have an opportunity to start as a rookie, and his athleticism and size are very similar to Isaiah Simmons. He had off-the-field issues which pushed him down draft boards, but he only fell into the second round. He played in the SEC. He can hit. He can cover. He's fast. He's big. They needed this. The Kansas City Chiefs offseason recap grade for me is a B. They didn't have much money to spend, but somehow they were able to give Patrick Mahomes $500 million and re-sign Chris Jones. They did bring back some key contributors in Demarcus Robinson and Brashad Breeland, who both helped get the Chiefs to the Super Bowl victory. I like what they did with the pickup of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and now with Damian Williams opting out, he's in prime position to start. But he's coming off a 1,414-yard, 16-touchdown national championship season. He should add a nice ground attack to this high-flying offense. Willie Gay should make an early impact. They did have an offensive tackle that they drafted from TCU, Lucas Nang, and he opted out, so he won't play this year. But I like the pickup of L'Jarius Sneed later on in the draft, who is a versatile player in the secondary who can play both corner and safety and even in the slot. I really like what they did this offseason. Getting that rushing attack is only going to make Patrick Mahomes that much more dangerous, because now you have to worry about putting a safety in the box. And if you put a safety in the box, he's got a cannon for an arm. He can beat you deep at any time. Next up, we got the Las Vegas Raiders, who had a pretty good offseason as well. The Raiders still do what the Raiders do. Mike Mayock and Gruden are anomalies, as they seem to have been throwing curveball after curveball after curveball since they have been together. I do like the free agent pickup of Corey Littleton. From the Rams, I am not sure how they plan on using him because they run a different scheme than the Rams did. He's a smaller middle linebacker, but maybe he plays the weak side. I'm not sure, but of course, their player spotlight for the draft is the speedster Henry Ruggs. And it seems like the AFC West now is trying to become a track team, and everyone's trying to keep up with the Chiefs. Corey Littleton, he's 6'3", 228-pound linebacker. He was a good pickup. Like I said, he is coming over from a 3-4 defense and is now going to a 4-3. But he should be a very good chase and tackle linebacker. He can play in space. As you can see, he can cover. He has good agility and good athleticism for the middle linebacker position. Again, I think he'll probably transition from middle to will due to his size. But the Raiders have a nice defensive line. He should stay clean. He should be able to, again, like I said, chase and tackle and play sideline to sideline and use his athleticism. Hopefully make plays on the ball as he's done this entire highlight. But I really, really, really like this pickup for him, just as how are they going to use him. Henry Ruggs is 6 foot, 190-pound wideout from Bama, and he's more than just blazing speed. He can catch, he can jump, he's dangerous with the ball in his hands. And like I said, it seems like the AFC West is every team is trying to get their own Tyreek Hill. Instead of trying to stop the Chiefs, it seems like they're trying to stay on pace with the Chiefs and go for touchdown after touchdown, score for score with them. Ruggs gives them that opportunity. With the ball in his hand, he is lightning fast. Again, he's crazy athletic. He can catch. He can jump. He will go up and over you, and he will blow right by you. This kid is a fantastic pick. Look at the catch here with one hand, and here we go with the 40. This kid is lightning in a bottle. The Las Vegas Raiders offseason recap grade for me is a C. They had decent free agency, bringing in linebackers, which was a position of need. However, bringing in 3-4 linebackers when you run a 4-3 is confusing. They paid too much money for Jeff Heath, who is basically a special teamer from the Cowboys. They brought in Nelson Aguilar, who has been a disappointment the last few years. They brought in an old Jason Witten. I don't understand his position because you had Darren Waller, who balled out last year. When it comes to the draft, the Raiders do what the Raiders do, and it's whatever they want to do. They don't care what anyone thinks. They don't care what analysis say, anything like that. They pick their guys, and I think you have to respect that. A lot of people did not have Ruggs as the number one wide receiver. They took him over CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy. And again, I think it's more so of his speed and trying to keep track with Tyreek Hill and what the Kansas City Chiefs are capable of doing. Drafting Damon Arnette, the corner out of Ohio State, as early as they did, this team didn't have a second-round draft pick. If they wanted him, they could have traded back and got him in the second round and got some more assets. He was a big-time reach. There were other good corners on the board. And anytime you draft a corner in the first round, he's expected to play. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him, and this kid is going to be going up against the speedster KJ Hamler for the Broncos, Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton of the Broncos. And then that Kansas City offense, he needs to learn. He needs to develop. Drafting him in the first round puts a lot of pressure on him. I like the pickup of Lynn Bowden out of Kentucky. He will be a nice offensive weapon. He played running back, wide receiver, and quarterback at Kentucky. I believe they said they're going to keep him at running back, but he'll be like an emergency quarterback if needed. Really like the pickup of Brian Edwards, who's a nice big-bodied receiver. They gave Derek Carr more weapons this offseason, which is pretty good. They drafted Tanner Muse, who will be a special teamer as he learns linebacker, who was a safety out of Clemson. Again, I'm not sure if this offseason loosens the gap or loosens the grip that the Chiefs have on the AFC West, but for the vast majority of the teams, they got speed, they got better. They're still chasing, and right now Kansas City still leads that track meet. Finally, we have the Los Angeles Chargers. Their player spotlight for free agency is the super talented all-pro corner Chris Harris Jr., and I really liked in the draft the pickup of Kenneth Murray, the linebacker out of Oklahoma. Chris Harris Jr. is a 4-time Pro Bowler. He's a Super Bowl champ. He's a first-team All-Pro. He's a 2-time second-team All-Pro. He's a good sign. He can play inside. He can play outside. It gives this secondary with Casey Hayward, Derwin James, Desmond King, Chris Harris. They have some versatility. They have some options. And they have enough talent to stop these offenses in the West. Kenneth Murray is an athletic sideline to sideline linebacker. He had 17 tackles for a loss last season at Oklahoma. He is athletic. He can move. And the Chargers are the one team in the AFC West that loaded up their defense to stop these loaded offenses. I really like this defensive team with this defensive line. You have playmakers now at every single level, able to stop plays, able to make plays. The Los Angeles Chargers offseason recap grade for me is a C. They needed offensive line help after letting go of Phillip Rivers. That should have been a priority, knowing you're going to transition to a younger quarterback. They did sign Brian Bulaga of the Packers, but he's older and coming off injury. Trading for Trey Turner was a good move, but you traded your starting left tackle, and you didn't replace him. Chris Harris Jr. was a great pickup. Like I said, he should fit nicely in the secondary. This defense is talented at all levels. Casey Hayward, Derwin James, Desmond King, Chris Harris in the secondary. Now you have Kenneth Murray playing in that middle linebacker spot, going up with Bosa and Ingram on that edge. This defense is nice. This defense is athletic. This defense will have to win them games. I do not like the pickup of Justin Herbert. I do know that they need a quarterback, but I think Justin Herbert is not the guy. I'm not sure what the NFL has against Tyrod Taylor. I know he doesn't take too many chances, but he doesn't turn the ball over. With this team going forward with Tyrod Taylor, next year having a pretty deep quarterback draft class, they could have done a lot more, but they went in on Herbert. They traded their second and third to move up and get Kenneth Murray. You have a fantastic defense with veterans who are getting older, but this team that can play, roll out a veteran quarterback and give Tyrod every opportunity to move this team, to get this team where they need to be. He took the Bills to the playoffs when the Bills hadn't been in years. He played with the Browns and was okay with the Browns before getting hurt. I like Tyrod Taylor. The NFL is moving to more of what he is capable of doing. But when you draft a quarterback in the first round as early as you did with Herbert, he's going to have to play. That's the name of the game now. When you draft a young quarterback, most of the times he's thrust into the fire. You have Tyrod there who's going to start the season until they feel comfortable enough with Herbert. But eventually Herbert's going to take over, and I think eventually Herbert's going to cost Anthony Lynn his job. All right, everybody, man, that's it. We are done with the offseason recap grades. Stay tuned. I am working on the record predictions, and I'm working on a mock draft. I'm going to do one based off the Vegas odds on their picks, and I'll do another off of what we come up with off of the record predictions. Again, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Show me some love. I appreciate it. I'm out of here.
Okay, now. I'm the top dog in the league, homie. Yeah. Let's speak on it. This stretch for anybody to reach on me. Just breathe on it, don't tell them. They gotta know it's me on it. Won't kick it on me and go for three on you. You couldn't guard me with the cleanest armor. I got it covered, these corners. I'm the top dog in the league, homie. Let's speak on it. This a stretch for anybody to reach on me. Just breathe on it, don't tell them. They gotta know it's me on it. Won't kick it on me and go for three on you. You couldn't guard me with the cleanest armor. I got it covered, these corners like, yeah.